Oh, wow. That was quick. Let me get a couple things set up here before we get started. Do this so I don't have to type that a bunch. Hello to anyone who's here. Yeah, so today we're going to be making a state machine that I'm calling the slap machine. Basically, what we're going to do is we're going to make a state machine that uses timing to trigger different animations so that we can do things like tell whether or not somebody does like a soft slap on our character or a hard slap on our character. We are having trouble streaming to Twitch, blah, 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 blah. No big deal. Just going to remove that because we don't ever have anybody watching on Twitch. Save changes. Okay, I think we're still good. As we're going through this, let me know if there's any questions. Also, let me know how the audio quality is and if everything's smooth. So I was messing around with this a little bit yesterday just to sort of get a basic prototype going. And this is what I have so far. And we're going to do a little bit of iterating on this to try and find better solutions to this because what I have works. But I'm sure there are ways that we can do it better. So what I've got is you can slap hard like this, but you can also slap soft. Now, sometimes it's a little weird depending on how fast you move, but I'll show you how this is set up, and then we'll go ahead and just build the whole thing. So the way that I was thinking about this was, what is the best way with the tools that we have to decide if it's a hard or soft slap? So what I came up with is this animation. Where are you? Here. So when you come into this hitbox, I'm using this as a listener. When you enter this hitbox, this animation, this enter animation will play. And I've got two different hitboxes that are stacked on top of each other. And one is left soft and the other one is left hard. So if you mouse over the left soft hitbox, it'll be a soft slap. And if you mouse over the left hard hitbox, it'll be a hard slap. So you can see what I've got set up here. We've got two different scale animation set up. So for the first 10 milliseconds of this animation, the left hard hitbox is going to be open. And then once we get past that frame, then we're opening up this left soft animation or the left soft hitbox, and it will stay open indefinitely. Now, it's not a perfect solution because if you think about it, you could be here and pull your mouse over really, really hard. And so that's one of those things that I want to see if there's a good solution to. Like maybe we can use two hitboxes and each one of them throws off a Boolean, and if they're both checked, then it's a hard slap. I don't know. We're gonna fool around with this a little bit today. But the first thing that we're gonna do is we got to come up with a character, and so let's do that. And I think what we're going to do is I'm working on this new Get Started video right now, as well as the Rive 101 course. And I made this goofy little character, so I'm going to go ahead and just recreate it really quick. So we'll do some little eyes. And we're also, if we have time, what we're going to do is make this like, we're going to make the character get progressively more like disheveled. So the more you slap the character, you know, we'll give him like a black eye, and like if you slap him from the top, because I'm going to have hitboxes, not just on the right side, but on the left side and the top. And so on the left and right, it'll trigger like progressive animations like states where the right side of the face looks different, left side of the face looks different. And when you hit from the top, we'll have a smile with some teeth, and we'll be breaking some teeth out. And it's all going to be very cartoony. It's not going to be crazy. So we're going to make a little, like, I don't know, squid character or something like that. Like Squidward. Except Squidward never smiles. And in this case, our character is going to smile. Because we need teeth to break. Boom. All right, cool. Just adjust this just a little bit. For everybody who's watching, have you guys tried out the new updates? I'm just curious. I'm pretty new to using Rive and haven't explored all the features yet, but can we animate just using one image, like mesh type stuff? Yeah, absolutely. There are a number of videos that we have on the YouTube channel. If you look in the Rive Unplugged playlist, there are a few. Let me quickly find one for you, and I'll drop it in the chat. Just 1 second. Let's go Rive. Sorry, this will only take a second. Let's see, playlists, and then Rive Unplugged. There's a lot of stuff in here. Here's one. Okay. Share. So this particular one was a creative session that I did a few months ago. I would say, it was back in October for Halloween, where I generated an image using Midjourney and then cut that image up and used it in Rive to create sort of a parallaxing scene with the pumpkin and his army. So check that one out if you want to see how to do the meshing and stuff. And there's some other videos that you can check out as well that that go through all sorts of like meshing technique and things like that. So, all right, let's give this a color. I'm trying to think if I'm going to use bones or we're just going to rotate this thing. We are going to use bones. So we'll just do this for now. No. How about not linear? Let's do radial. Oops. Yeah, what's the best way to take something from something like Adobe Substance 3D animation and use PNG sequence to solo out to keep fidelity, or that would be too much for Flutter app and size? Oh, well, it's probably a Discord question, but I'm pretty sure you can render out PNG sequences, and then you can use the solos. One thing that you can do, let me just pull up a thing with images here. So here we've got a PSD that I imported. This is JC's Viking character that you might have seen. One thing that you can do is when you go into the assets panel here, you can change the compression, so the WebP compression. You can drop the quality down, and that'll save you some weight. But I don't know necessarily, like I don't know how big your PNG sequence is going to be. So it's worth checking out and seeing what you find. And if you find that it's not working well enough, then go into Discord, let us know. Drop your file, and if you want to keep it private, you can always DM one of us, and we can relay that to the engineering team to see what kind of like optimizations we can find. All right, so back to Squidward here, but we can't call him Squidward. What are we going to call him? Squidberg. Okay, 90 images. Whew, that's gonna be a beefcake. Yeah, I would just. What I would recommend is make sure that you render everything in the size that you're going to use, so that you're not rendering in, like, if you're not going to use it in 4K, please don't render it in 4K. You'll be in trouble, unless it's what you need. If you need that, then maybe you might want to take a different approach. Okay, so let's make a mouth, and he's going to have a nice smiley mouth. I mean, we're probably going to make a couple different mouths for sure, because when we slap the character, I want the head to turn to the side and then have one of those like, ooh, faces, you know what I mean? So we're going to do that too. And right now, I'm not worried about rigging. All I'm worried about is making sure that I get all the artwork done, and then we'll go back and rig it up, and we'll think about all the stuff that we need. So we got that. Let's clip it to this guy. You know, one thing Pedro always says is that your character needs a hat. So let's give him a hat. So how do I want to make this hat? I'm going to just go with something basic for now, like this. I don't know. It's like a cork. All right. So we got that, and then let's give him something like this, little brim. And this will be fun because when we slap the top of his head, what we can do is make the hat start to scrunch up more and more. So we'll have to do a little thinking about that. Okay, we need a color for the hat. What are we gonna do? Red hat? I like this. All right, that's good. No, seriously, have y'all tried out the new updates that landed yesterday? The interpolation on states and the motion path is going to be really nice because we're going to use a little bit of motion path today. I don't think we're going to use interpolation on states, but we are going to use motion path. All right, something like that. All right, and then let's put some fillaroonies on this thing. And let's go like this way. Maybe. Yeah, we'll do it like this, and then we'll put another one that goes across. All right, so let's have that up there, and then it's like a little bit darker blue, or maybe like more of a green. Does that make sense? I'm asking myself that, not you guys. Does that make sense? It makes some kind of sense, I guess. All right, and then this one, yeah, we want it to be like that, and then let's put a stroke on it. Just to give it some thickness, and we're going to keep it like that so that we can scale it. Transform effects. Turn that off so that now when we do this kind of thing, we'll have some kind of thickness when we animate it. Let's give this a little strap. And I'm probably going to have to do some changing to this artwork once we start animating it, but that is okay. Something like this. All right, and we'll do like a dark purple band, and then you know what? I don't know why it needs a buckle, but our buckle, our little decorative piece, is going to be like a starfish, because why not? Something like that. Boom. Okay, so there's our buckle. I'll make it yellow. All right. Yeah, something like that. All right, cool. Alrighty. Let's give this a little shadow too. It's telling me I'm doing too much right now. All right, that. Get rid of the stroke. Turn it down. And then clip it to the head. Boom. Now we got a hat. Pedro would be proud. Okay. You probably put some highlights and stuff on there too. We're going to call the character good for now. Let's go ahead and start working on the state machine. So first thing I'm going to do is group the whole thing. That way we have a top level group to work with. And we're going to call this the root group. No, we're not. We're going to call this the character main group. And then we're going to group it again. And this is going to be our root group. So now we're starting to set up this hierarchy. And then within the main character group, let's go ahead and subdivide this stuff. So we probably want to stick the hat into a group. We'll call this the hat group. Well, I mean, just hat. Let's get the mouth. Mouth. And then let's get the eyes. It's like that is the right eye as we're looking at it. Not necessarily, you know, it's mirrored, so whatever. Left eye. Oops. Left eye. Okay. And then this is the body. Cool. All right. So we are going to need to do a couple things here. The first thing that we need to do is make sure that we have the rig set up so that we can do the slaps left, right, and top. And we're going to improve the rig as we go. So because this is more of a figuring out kind of thing. So one thing that we need is some bones. So what I'm going to do is have a bone down here, and this is just going to be kind of an anchor bone for the little tenticles. Hey, Michael. And then we're going to add a bone for the head, which is basically the entire body. And then I'm going to make a bone for the hat so that we can rotate the hat and scale the hat and stuff like that using this bone. Actually, forget that for now. We're going to use a group because I want to. Yeah, I just think this is the only way that we're going to be able to do this. Because let me see this really quick. Body. If I put the origin here, I need to fix this just a tad. If we scale it now, yeah, the tentacles are going to move, and I don't want that to happen because we need to weight those to that. All right, so let's grab this, and let's go ahead and bind these bones to our character. Oops. Oh, yeah. So we selected the body. We went into the shape or the path layer, and now we need to select some bones. So I'm going to select this bone first, and by default, because I selected that one first, all of my vertices are now weighted to this bone. And we'll also grab this bone, and then we'll go into edit vertices mode and say, okay, all of you guys, this is the only bone that you respect. You don't care about anything else. That's it. So now let's see where that gets us. Okay, that's pretty good. We could also add in a bone here and here so that we can like squash the head. Let's try that. We'll see how that looks because we're probably going to need to add some vertices to the head to make that work. All right, so let's put in a vertex here, and I think when we move that in, maybe we need to put one here too, and here, and now when I move that in, yeah, okay, perfect. And then we'll do the same thing on this side. Okay, cool. So we got those extra vertices now. We can add in these extra bones. So let me bind these, boom. Boom. And then we're just going to add a little weightage here because that's right. Yeah, so we're going to go, let's go 75 on these. Oops, this one, 75. Now let's just see how that works. Yep. Yep. Perfect. Okay, so now that we have that, let's clean up our rig a little bit. And again, we can improve this rig as we go. It doesn't need to be perfect right now, mostly because we don't have a lot of time. And normally, it takes me a little bit of time to get these rigs figured out when I'm working to get like the best outcome. Okay, so I think that's got what we want. All right, cool. So now let's drop this into our root group. Maybe onto our character main, actually. Let's put it on the character main. So now we can drop things on here. So let's see. This group is for our hat, so we're going to stick it there. These are just free-floating mouth, eye. Those need to go onto this bone. Boom. Okay, cool. So now our character's head moves back and forth. One thing that I want to do is add in an additional control so that I can control everything on the face at the same time. And the way you set this up is basically up to you. You can use transform constraints, which gives you the ability to set strengths for the different objects in the group. But just to keep it quick, we're just going to do something like this. And that gives me the ability to move this stuff back and forth across the face. All right. So now that we have this, I'm going to go ahead and scale this down a little bit to give us a little more room to work with on this artboard. And now let's set up some hitboxes. So we already know that we're going to need, because I showed off the prototype before, we already know we're going to need a hitbox on the left, a hitbox on the right, and a hitbox on the top. And these hitboxes are to figure out which direction the mouse is coming in from. Now there are some gaps, some weird angles. And honestly, what we could do, so we could have a left slap, a right slap, a top slap, and then I bet we could do like a top left, top right slap. But let's do these first, and then we'll continue to iterate on it depending on the time, because we're already 20 minutes in. Geez, time flies when you're doing things. Okay, so the next thing that we need are I'm actually going to do the sides first. We need an additional set of hitboxes. We're going to rename all these in a second. We need hitboxes that are lined up with the side of the character, and we need 2. So we've got this one and another one. I'm going to take those, copy those, this side, and then we'll need a top set too. This may be off topic and fine to parking. Okay, just to wait to the end to explain the benefits of Json and a state machine, and maybe how you'd use this example here. Well, we don't export as a JSON. We export as a .riv. So it's its own file format. I don't really know what the benefit of a JSON would be. Are you asking like what would be the benefit of making this in After Effects, exporting using the body movement plugin, and then importing into Rive? I'm guessing that may be. Yeah, no. Well, you can import from body movement, and that may be a JSON file. I'm not 100% sure. I'm not an After Effects guy. Okay, yeah. All right, so benefits. I guess if I had to come up with a benefit, the benefit would be that if you're familiar with After Effects and you've used that pipeline before, then you already have the knowledge of that pipeline. The drawback to that, though, is depending on how you've chosen to animate the object in After Effects, you could have a lot of baked-in keyframes that are going to bloat the size of your file. And that's what leads to Lottie files being bigger than Rive files, because if you make it in Rive, then you're animating just the things that you need. And so you end up with a smaller file size the majority of the time. I would say that is a dev kind of question. I think you could ask that's something I think you should go into Discord and ask one of our developers. Maybe actually, you know what, Laura would be a really good person to ask too. She does a lot of Lottie to Rive conversions, and she can tell you her experience. Like I said, I'm not really an After Effects guy. I've always been animating in Rive. Personally, I like Rive better just because the interface is so much easier to understand. I don't know if you feel that way, but anyways, that's what I got for you. Okay, let's rename some hitboxes. So we're going to call this left detect. How we could just curious how we could programmatically do some stuff. Yeah, so if you did import something as a JSON, you could put those animations that you import into a state machine and set it up just like we're doing here. But again, the drawback to it is you could end up with a bigger file size. The other drawback, because there's a difference, like a credit card skin changing, for example. So something like that would be really easy because you're just changing the property of something, and then you set up a state machine layer, like just as a really quick, this is a very quick example, but, and don't worry about being off topic. Like this is almost like an office hours thing where like I have a thing that I'm making, but it's better to have, it's good to have questions and stuff. So if you were going to set up a credit card skinning thing, let's make a couple credit card skins. We're going to make 2 or 3. All right. So here's credit card 1. This is your Visa standard card. It's gray. So let's make sure that we set the color to gray. All right. So then skin 2. All right. So let's say that this is like, I don't know, the platinum skin, the one that everybody wants, right? Like you're big and in charge. All right, so we have our black skin. And then I don't know, something for somebody like me who's like, ooh, I like pretty colors. All right, cool. So we've got our 3 skins. You could change whatever you want on these things. It doesn't matter. And you go into your state machine, and let's say this is, I use a number input, and we'll call this our skin. So this is our skin input. And what we can do is we can drag in our animations, or our skins rather. And there's so many ways that you could set this up. You could do it with solos. You could do it with a lot of stuff. Connect all these up like this. All right, so now we have our 3 skins connected to this any state, which means we can go to any of these states from any of the other states, and then we just configure the transitions. So let's say this skin, when this value is 0, we'll go to 1. When this skin is 1, we'll go to 2. And when this skin is 2, we'll go to 3. So then you play your state machine. All right, so that's our first skin, that's our second skin, that's our third skin. And for you, it could be, they could have different animations on them. I'm not exactly sure what you'd be doing, exporting as like your JSON or whatever to bring into Rive, whatever that would have. But you would just set each one of those skins up on an animation, unless it imports the animation. And then you drag it in and set something like this up. If you have specific questions on that, I saw that you just joined the Discord, post in the help thread. Try not to post questions and things like that in general, just because it makes it easier for other people, if they have the same question, to track that question down. All right, back to slapping, because we got to get to slapping here. Let's rename some hitboxes. All right, so we've already got our left detect. We've now got right detect. And then let's go with top detect, but that is going to just sit here for a while, and we're just going to leave them all gray for now because it doesn't matter. We're going to turn these hitbox colors off, or we're going to change them maybe just to make sure that the hitboxes are on the screen. All right, so let's say that this one is our right soft hitbox, and then we're going to call this one the right hard hitbox, and we need a left soft and a left hard. No. You just ask whatever you need, man. That's what we're here for. Okay, so we've got the hitboxes that we need. So let's set up some animations. For right now, I'm just gonna group all these and I'm going to stick them on my root group and call these my hitboxes. Now I've got them turned off because I want to set some animations up first so that we can see this thing trigger. All right, first animation. We're going to call this soft slap right. Okay, soft slap right. No, sorry, idle. Let's do an idle. And for now, our idle animation is very simple. We're going to key the rotation of this so it's straight up, and we're going to key the position of these bones. That's all we're doing. We could add blinks, we can add little floaty bits, we could do whatever we want in this animation, but for right now, we're just going to keep it as this. This is our idle animation. And you know what? You know what we're going to do? This is what we're going to do. We're going to do this. Eyes, get my eyes here. And we're going to just, we're going to make a blink just to show you. And we might even set these up on a different layer if we were going to really try and make this look fancy. All right, sweet. Yeah. And you know what? I know I'm you know whatting a lot, but it just be that way sometimes. We're gonna do this, and we're gonna take like this color, and we're gonna do transform. Actually, we're just gonna make it black. That way, when we scale this stuff down, we have some thickness. Now, what did we have here? 5.6. So 5.6. Make it black. Cool. And I think that makes it. Oh. Transform does not affect. All right, cool. So now we've got our looping animation, or we've got our idle animation. Awesome. Now, let's make some slapping animations. All right. Let's say soft slap right. So that means we're coming in from the right side. Boom. It could be left. I don't know. I got it confused last time. Okay. So we are going to go ahead and take this rotation, key it where it is, and then we're just going to make a little whoop. Just a little thing like that. And then we're going to swing it back the other way. And then back past center just a little bit. And then make it come to rest here. All right, something like that. Cool. Perfect. All right, so we've got our slap left. It's the soft one. Now what we're gonna do is I'm gonna duplicate this, and we're gonna say soft slap left, and we're just gonna use the same timing that we have, but we're gonna invert our rotations. Little cheat move. Perfect. Now we've got a slap left and a slap right, soft, and you know we can add some fancies in here too. Let's add a little fancies, just like the slightest bit. All right. So let's say the position's there. I also need to do that here. Let me set the position here. Let's do the scale. All right, slap left. So we'll start it, same spot, and we'll do the scale. And we'll go we're going left. Okay, so we'll just bump the face over. We'll bump it over. And then bring it back to the center, like that. Put some easing on it. Perfect. Copy these keys, go to the right, paste the, let's go the other way. Boop. I had a guy in high school, we used to call him Squilliam, you know, because that's like Squidward's brother's name, Squilliam. He didn't look like Squidward or Squilliam. I'm not exactly sure why we called him that. Oh, I do. Yeah, his name was William. You can see how we get there. Okay, So we've got our soft slaps. Let's do the hard slaps. Let's go hard slap left. Okay. All right. I don't know why I had to think about this. Wait, is left coming in from the left? I think, yeah, okay. Boop. We need better naming conventions already. Okay, so we got that. And now we're going to go way more to the side. And then we're going to go back this way. We're going to probably mess with the timing here a bit. This way. This way. And then just bring it back to the center. Let's see how that looks. All right, easing. Perfect. All right, duplicate that. We're going to call it hard slap right. I have this problem where I decide that I'm going to capitalize everything and then only capitalize the first two words and then not the last one. You know, we've all got our cross to bear, and I guess that's mine. All right, so we're going to go left this time. And then we're going to bring it back the other way. And then back the other way. And then back the other way. And then to the center. Oh, my goodness. All right, cool. So we've got our hard slap and we've got our soft slap. Oh, the fancies. That's right. Okay, here we go. Woo. We probably need a little more time on here because what I'd want to do is offset the face group from the rotation of the body so it's more fwah, fwah, fwah. But yeah. We're racing against time. Okay, and then let's ease it. Cool, and then did this get easing? You naughty, naughty boy, you didn't put easing on it. Perfect. All right, and another thing we'll do is add, I'm gonna mess with the animation here in a minute, but let's go ahead and get this into the state machine and talk about how all this stuff works. So we need, right now we need at least two layers. The first layer, we're going to call this our slap animations. And we're going to set up a controller for this. So we need, I believe we need an any state here. So let's do this. And let me look at how I set it up over here. Any state? Yeah, okay, cool. All right, get out of here, entry, because we're going to start here with the any state. All right, so we've got our idle hooked up to the any state. We've got slap, soft slap left, hard slap left. Just put those next to each other. Soft slap right, hard slap right. All right, and then let's make some transitions. Boop, 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 boop. Okay, so we've got all of that. Trying to think if this is how we're going to want to set this up in the end. Because didn't I? Yeah. All right, cool. I just left it like this. Okay. So now we're going to need a, for right now, we're going to use a number input. And we're going to call this the slappage value. Make sure you have a conversation with your developer so that you know exactly what you'd want to call this. And if a number input is the right thing, or if you'd want to use triggers or something like that. So let's say on 0, the slappage value is, or the slappage value on 0 goes to idle. And then we'll say 1, oops, not that. we'll say 1, we got a soft slap left, and then 2, we got a soft slap or hard slap left, and then soft slap right. We'll go -1, and then hard slap right is -2. Okay. Now that we've got this, we need a good way to trigger those different numbers, and that's where our listeners are going to come in with these hitboxes. So let's just make sure all of this works. 1. And we're also going to probably need to reset this value every time we go through. Which that's going to be the tricky thing. So maybe we do want to use a, you know what? Now that I'm thinking about it, here's what we're going to do. We're going to use triggers, and we're going to use a lot of them. Forget those number inputs, because that's going to give us problems. So we need 1, 2, 3, 4. We need 4 triggers, and we're going to say soft slap left. Before I was using numbers and hard slap left. I was using numbers, and I realized that, like, if I wanted to return to idle every time, I couldn't just set up a transition to go back to idle. I had to reset the number to 0, which I would have had to figure out a way to do that. So I think triggers are probably better here. All right, soft slap right, hard slap right. Okay, let's reconfigure this stuff. Let me get rid of this, and let's see which one is soft slap left. Hard slap left. Soft slap right. Hard slap right. All right, let's double check all this stuff. And then this one, I think this one's just hanging out. So maybe it'd be a bad idea to have that go there. But let's say that all of these, this is going to be like the cherry on top here. Boom. Like this. Sometimes I like the designs that state machines take on. All right. So by default, you're just going to start there. Yeah, why not? And then all of these are going to transition at 100% exit time. So let's make sure this works. All right, so we're on idle. Let's try a hard slap, and then we go back, and then a soft slap, and then we go back. Why you do it like that? Why your eyes do that? Probably because I didn't set up anything here. So let's do, let me fix these eyes real quick. Eyes, is that the one that yeah, I animated these. All right. I'm gonna go ahead and just put a little animation on them so that, boom, when you slap, squints down, and just stays that way until like here, and then we go back to normal. Yeah, we'll use that for now. And I'm just going to take these keys, copy to the other slap animation. Cool. And then for this, instead of like that, we're going to go all the way down. And he actually seems like he's enjoying this. All right, now let's copy these. Oops, into here. Cool. All right, that should fix our eye issue. Yep. Okay, cool. So we've got our different slap animations. Now we need to configure all of our listeners and add in the new layer to the state machine. Before we do that, I'm going to go ahead and start organizing this panel because it's going to start getting big pretty quick. So we're going to call these the slap animations. And then that way I can just put my slap animations in this folder. keep things a little cleaner, make it easier to navigate. And then the inputs, let's add a folder for our slap triggers. Sweet. All right, cool. We're nice and cleaned up. So we need some more animations. We're going to need that entry animation. So let's start with the right side. So entry, right. And then, I don't know, slap determine. Okay, so when you enter the right side, oh, and we probably need an idle. Let's do that. All right, so on idle, we're gonna say that all of these 3 hitboxes, because these are our detecting hitboxes, we're gonna say that the scale for those is 100%. And then these are all of our, like, the ones to tell which slap we're going to be using. These are all going to be at 0 on the X. All right. Now, when we go into the right side, what I want to do is turn off our left detect and our top detect. Guess we can use Y. Oh, no. What am I doing? Let's just use X. That works. Okay, so we've got those turned off so that when you're in here, you can't access those on accident. And we're going to want to make sure we do the... Did we do that on this? I think it's the... How did we do this? Idle and enter. Okay, yeah, that's what we did. All right, so we don't actually need slap determine. This is slap determine. Okay. All right, so all those are turned off. These are off. And this is where the trick comes in. So, oh yeah, let's make sure this one's, it shouldn't matter. That should be fine. So these, let's use the right ones. Let's turn them to 0 to start with, just so I have them starting in the same place. All right, so the hard one, that's the one that, like, if you travel from here to here quickly in at least 10 milliseconds, we want you to be hitting that one, even if it's kind of slow. We can probably improve that a little bit. We're going to go with, was it 100%? Yeah, okay. So this, you're going to stay at 100% when we go into entry here. So this is going to be accessible until here, and then it's going to go to 0. All right, and then let's make sure that is held there. And then boom, it goes away. And then when that one goes away, we want to open up our soft hitbox. So we're going to go to 100, and we're just going to keep it there. All right. And then let's change the colors on these just so we can see. So the hard, let's make it red. And the soft, let's make it blue. All right, and so now we can see what's happening. So first 10 milliseconds, hard, and then the blue one opens. Just like that. Oops, don't move that guy. All right, so let's go ahead and set up our state machine. And with one side, we're just going to use entry for now. But we're probably going to have to use an any state for this. So let's say I actually need to change this to right slap determination. Boom. Okay. So when we need a Boolean, and we're going to say right, we're going to call this Boolean right entry, so that we know that we're hovering on top of this one. So when right entry is true, will be here, and then when it's not true, we'll be back in idle, so that all of our hitboxes, all of these hitboxes are open. Right entry, false. Make sure you're here in idle. All right, just to make sure that that works, let's check that. Perfect. All right, now we need to set up some listeners. So when we do a mouse enter on this hitbox, hello, listener, add it. Okay, when we enter this hitbox, we're gonna set the right entry to true. And when we exit this hitbox, we're gonna set right entry to false. Hopefully that works. I think it will. All right, and then let's select these and add our stuff. Delete that. Let's do the hard one and say when we enter that, trigger hard slap left, and when we go into this one, trigger hard slap or soft slap right. Pointer enter, soft slap right. All right, let's just make sure that the pointer entry, right entry. Okay, that's right. And this one needs to be changed to hard slap right. Perfect. Okay, so let's make sure that that works. Yeah, we're switching back to the idle too quick. So let's go with 100%. Perfect. All right, so now if we're here, so you got to come from pretty far back to actually get a hard slap on that. And there we go. How do you get a stroke on the outside of a shape and right? I can't figure it out for the life of me. All right, so just by how our strokes work right now, and this is probably going to change when we get the new renderer, but a stroke will always be centered on the shape. So that line right there is the shape. The stroke obviously splits the difference. So the way that you could do this, and it's a little inconvenient, but it's a workaround that you can use. Copy your shape, add your fill. Oops, what are we doing? Got to take this off and scale it out. And there you go. So now your stroke is on the outside of your shape. It's a little hacky, but hopefully that will help you with what you need to do. And then, you know, if you're just going to be doing like scaling and stuff like that, that shouldn't be a problem, especially if you group both of them. You can always go in and make sure you turn off transform effects, and that way your stroke size stays the same. So you can do that kind of stuff. If you set it up on bones, you can just weight both this shape. You can weight both shapes to the bones in the same way. So like if you wanted a basketball with a rim light, you know, you would set it up in a group like this, move the anchor point or the origin down to the bottom, and then boom, we're bouncing a ball. So hopefully that helps. Okay, so we are officially slapping this character. Let's set up the left side, and then man, we are almost out of time, so I might go a little bit longer because I want to get it to the point where we can actually start changing the character's face and sort of what it looks like. So let's burn through this really quickly. We're gonna let's just change this stuff. Boom, soft. Make sure it's blue. Okay, cool. All right, I think we have everything we need. All right, wrap, not wrap. Okay, left slap. Determine. Nope. There's an E. All right, so what did we do? We made sure that all these hitboxes were closed. These are also closed. Left hard starts open. 10 frames, closes. And we set that to hold. And then soft starts closed, opens at 10 frames, 10 milliseconds, however you want to think. Nope, sorry. And we set that to that as well. Perfect. All right, let's add this to the state machine. And honestly, we don't even need an any state because we can just do it like that, just like we did before. But we need a new Boolean. So left entry. We're going to make a new folder for this in a second. So condition, when we enter this thing, or no, sorry. Yeah, left entry, true, go to slap determine. When it's false, go back to idle. And then I think we need an exit time. We do. Exit time 100%. All right, and then let's set up our listeners. So when we enter this hitbox, we want to make sure that left entry is true. And when we exit that hitbox, we want to make sure that left entry is false. Okay, that works. Now let's do our triggers here. So left soft, when we enter that, let's do soft slap left. And we need one more for the hard one. Hard slap left. Boom. Okay, make sure this works. Turns those off, turns them back on, turns those off, turns them back on. So now we can slap this way, and we can slap this way. We can soft slap both ways. Cool. All right, so the slapping works. Now let's set up some animations that let us progressively sort of damage the character. So we need some extra artwork here. What are we going to do here? All right, so we probably want like... I do want to... All right, so that mouth is there. Let's do another mouth. Let's do one like this that we can key during the slap animation. And let's actually use a linear here. That looks like this and like this. Sweet. All right, and then we're also going to do something like this. So his little tongue sticking out. Boop. Pop that behind, and we're going to call this mouth 2. Oh, not mouth 21. We didn't come up with that many mouths. Okay. And then let's make a mouth 3, but we're just going to copy this guy. Mouth 3, and then we're going to flip it. Flip it. Like that. Okay, cool. Let's put all these on a solo. Control L. All right, so we're mouth 1 and then mouth 2. Let's turn that on for a second. Okay, cool. That's so goofy. All right, mouth 3. Sweet. I may have to change that a little bit. All right, let's make sure that by default we are on this mouth. And then go back to the slap animations really quick. All right, so let's make sure we keyed that, and then when we go here, no, we're not doing it on. the soft slaps, but we'll just make sure that the right solo is keyed here. All right, hard slap right. Okay, so by default there, and then boom, we need this one. That's so stupid. Oh my God, that is so dumb. That is stupid. All right, and then we'll switch the mouth back here. Something like that. Okay. Let's do the same thing on the left. Where did we put that? To boom. It's just, y'all, this is dumb. Okay, boom. And then here we'll go back to the normal mouth. We'd probably want to change that up a little bit, but I just think that's funny. Okay. We need damage progression is what we need. So we're going to add a new folder. Damage progression. And let me get these out of the way too. Slap. We'll just call these hitboxes. Put those in here. Again, we want a nice and clean animation panel. Bro, let me move that. Thank you. Okay, damage progression. So let's say we're gonna do left and right side. So we're gonna say left healthy. And then we're gonna do left first hard, duplicate it, left second hard, and we'll just leave it there for now. Okay, so left healthy. We want to make sure that we have stuff keyed here. So this is going to be the left side. So what can we do to make the character damage? Let's say we do something like, we'll keep it simple for now. So we're gonna do, we'll just make changes to this. Okay. So healthy, we're just gonna use the stroke and the stroke thickness and color. And then on the first hard hit left, we're gonna make this grow a little bit, and we're gonna change this to purple. You know what? We're not going to do it that way. Here's what we're going to do. Oops, I broke my delete key. Sorry, I got to sneeze. All right. Let's do it like this. Like this, and then I think what we can do is do it like this, so that when we scale it, we can scale it like this, and it's like a black eye. All right, let's put that in the left eye group. Let's make sure it's under here. And what color do we want to make it? We need to make it a darker purple, or like a green. Yeah, because you ever gotten a black eye? It kind of goes purple and then green. All right, so we got that. So by default, we're going to be here. All right, and so healthy, key the scale. I'm going to hit hard once. We'll do that. Let's copy this to here. So we have a good reference, and then boom. It's like that, and then, I don't know, we need something else. Like, to make it look lumpy. Let's just do this really quickly. Give it some more volume. Whoa. Something like that. And then we'll just clip it. Let me make it a little bigger. All right. Like this. Do this. Make it a little darker. And then we'll clip it to this guy. Okay. That's silly. Okay, cool. All right, so there's the idea of like the damage progression, and we can do it on the right side too. But let's go ahead and set this up in the state machine. So this one's pretty easy. Let me rename this determination, and then we're gonna say left damage progression. And all we're going to do is we're going to use the slap triggers to determine we're going to use the slap triggers to determine how healthy the character is. So we're going to say by default we're just going to start at healthy, and then once we trigger the first left hit, and let me just make sure. Well, we can change it up later. It doesn't matter. When we trigger hard slap left the first time, it's going to go into this animation. Now, if we want to make them do it a couple times before the progression happens again, what we can do is one of two things. We can add a dummy state like this and say the next time a hard slap left happens, just go to this dummy state. It's going to basically carry the properties from this animation into here, and then we can go into our next step in the damage progression here. Hard slap left again. And yeah, I think that's going to work. So let's try that. Oops. No, I don't want to. Okay. All right, so the black eye works. All right, and there you go. So it took 1, 2, 3 hard slaps to get to our second damage thing, and you could add more and more stuff to make it take longer. One of the things that we might want to do, we'd probably want to change how the rig works on the eye to keep this from shrinking like that. We'd probably want to just be animating the eye itself so that the black eye, like the swollen part, stays here, and then we could scale it down just a little bit. But yeah, that's the basic idea. I'm going to probably work on this some more throughout the rest of the week. I got some other stuff I need to do, mostly trying to get the Rive 101 thing finished. But when I'm not working on that, I will work on this. Are there any final questions before I get out of here? The secret is actually my album's over, so that's why I'm gonna go ahead and call it done. Oh, Zach, yeah, check this out, dude. There you go. Now he's got a black eye. Again, it needs to be improved. I'm gonna work on that this week. But you can also just like give him little ones, you know. But then you can really give it to him. All right. Sounds like there's no questions, so we're going to get out of here. I think that's it for the streaming schedule this week. Don't forget we got Rive Live on Tuesday. No, we don't. We have Rive Live on Monday. Is this for a boxing prototype? No, man, this is like it's like a stress ball, you know what I mean? Like I don't know. I never get stressed, but just say you got stressed and you need to boot up a little app and be like, "Man, I'm so sick of so sick of this. I just gotta you know, take out your frustration on what did we call this guy? I forget. Squiggy. Yeah, take out your aggression on Squiggy, you know? But it could be. Could be a boxing prototype. You could set up some like boxing gloves and stuff that come in. And honestly, you could have a You could even set up like a little like hand cursor that comes across, and every time you come across, you throw off like an effect or something like that. I don't know. Anyways, that's it. That's what I got. Hopefully this helps somebody out there, whether it's today or 2 years from now. If you have any questions, leave a comment on the video. If not, make sure you join the Discord and yeah, ask us there. Bye, everybody. Oop, go to what's happening? Oh, I'm looking at the wrong mouse cursor.